Let
Oh,
us
shoot.
do this thing.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, I like your new place of directly in the Matrix.
I like
It,
living in the Matrix here, honestly. It's
I like that. Like no matter where you go, you're like kind of in a stark white room. Like you're in a new place, but you're still in a stark. I
it's
feel like you have this ability to be like, oh, here's another stark white place for me to go to.
it's my minimalist aesthetic, I think.
Yeah, you got a real minute. And my like absolute maximalist. Here's just more stuff. What if I put more stuff in here?
Well, see, yours is actually interesting to look at. Although I do like this reflection that's going on back here.
I like it a
Uh,
lot. I'm a big fan. It really the
yeah,
only problem is it does a little bit read like maybe you're gonna try to get me into drop shipping.
yeah, exactly.
It
So
has
have I got a deal for you? Like, would you like to? I've got a multi-level marketing
yeah, you're gonna
plan
turn
for
around
you.
and be like, this is my Bugatti, but that's not what's interesting. What's interesting is all these books, and then you turn around and it's some very bland books. Now,
Exactly.
I've read a lot of books and I ain't rich. Hell, you know what? Here's the thing. I got a timer in front of me, Andrew.
Well, I think it's my turn then. I should say hello, Brandon.
Hi, Andrew.
Start that timer, Brandon.
Boom, there we go. We got 15 minutes on the clock. It's right here. I don't really have it behind me, so I'm not going to hold it the whole time. You just got to trust.
All right.
Uh, so I did a show and I thought it went pretty well.
Tell me
I
about
did
it.
a good show. 10 minutes felt good. Yeah, audience felt it. Weird art stuff doing it. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. And then online, someone went, boy, it was a good show, but no one liked that Brandon Gorin guy. So I want to talk
What?
about how you could, yeah, like specifically like
Oh my
Brandon Gorin
God.
did not resonate with the audience. He was a real step down from all the other comedians.
What?
I don't think I'm gonna go back if that Brandon Gorin guy is gonna be there. And I'm like, oh no.
I mean, are you serious? Like someone actually
Yeah,
like
I'm
called you
serious. I'm
out?
dead serious. Yeah.
Oh
And
my
it's
God.
fine. They
Okay.
also like so it's the Yonko thing we talked about
Yeah.
before, but getting caught, not getting caught, is they did, and I want to say this, I stand on this. They did kind of sort of dock me, which is weird.
I,
Uh I didn't love that. Because they were
well,
like,
how
yeah,
so? Are you using a
I'm not
different,
okay. So there's a
are you using
kind
a
of so
different
I'll
name?
explain.
Was it?
No, I
Okay.
wasn't using a different name. Okay, that's why I'm using my own name, but
Okay.
I never mentioned where I work. I didn't wear
Oh, okay.
anything that said where I work. And then on this thing, they were like, "Oh, I did some sleuthing, and he works at where my job is." And I went, "Okay, you understand why I don't want to hang out with you anymore, right? Like there is like a certain level of like we
Yeah.
can't be
I mean, what was the point of that? Like, why were they? I
couldn't
mean,
tell you to save my life. I guess
okay.
that I'm around, that
Okay.
I work at a place that is around, which is fine."
Yeah.
But if it's just not something. You keep those worlds kind of separate,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
and there's a sort of level of I don't want to say like it's fine,
Mhm.
it's fine, but I would like to talk about, and it's one of those things like I gave myself a day to deal with
Mhm.
it, and like it is what it is, and I rewatched some of the video, and I was like, oh no, people did enjoy it.
Mhm.
It is a little weird to talk for the whole crowd. I think that you didn't connect, but I also have to remind myself that like if you're gonna be an acquired taste, you can't be mad when not everybody likes the taste, you know?
Mhm.
And I think it is important to give myself space for being upset's a strong word, but being annoyed, I think,
Mhm.
and like the kind of sort of semi docking, like hey, that's not exactly cool. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Uh, really allowed me to be like, well, specifically, I mean, they can say what they want, but they shouldn't do that, which is a great thing if you're ever trying to be upset. Figure out specifically what they did wrong and just hone in
Mhm.
on that forever. Um, but it's interesting because there wasn't a lot I can do with this critique. They didn't like it. That was about as all I could take from the critique.
Yeah.
They thought it didn't connect to the audience. I thought it did connect to the audience.
Mhm.
Which is fine. It's fine.
Well, and if
Um,
you're, it's, I mean, I think from a performance standpoint, I mean, acknowledging the fact that we can't always tell what exactly is happening in the audience, we can acknowledge
mhm.
that, but at the same time, I mean, if you feel like you're getting a reaction, then I think you also have uh, that validity to be able to say, oh, okay, this joke worked, or this joke didn't work, or this story worked, or this story didn't work.
Yes, I agree. And in watching the tape, maybe it wasn't as great as I thought it was. That's okay. But I do think it is important that when you create, that you know that there are people out there that are going to interact with it in a way that they don't have to like it, and that's not their job to like it, and it's okay. And you either have to take what they say and go, this is something I can learn from, which I think
Mm,
you can sometimes do, like bad, because it's funny because I feel like bad reviews can really screw you up because like you're like, oh, these are bad reviews. But I honestly feel like good reviews sometimes can screw you up even more
mm,
because they'll like something that A, you maybe you had no control over, or B, like they put like, it's easy to take a bad review and go, okay, well, they didn't like me. Well, I don't like them either. And that's not the best thing to do,
yeah.
but it doesn't affect your work that much. But I
Mm,
think reacting to a good review and going, well, they like that, I got to do more of that, is
mm,
also like really damning to the artistic
sure.
process. And I think
Yeah.
in some ways I made a mistake because I read something with my own name in it. And
Mm,
I think it is probably, unless it is a specific critique for you, it is probably healthy to never read something with your own name in it.
mhm,
Uh, it's I feel bad reviews can screw you up, and like good reviews can really screw you up.
mm,
And you have to, you almost like, and if you choose to create for fun or money, either or, I'm not even saying if you're doing this for a living, even if you're doing this for a hobby and you put it out in the open,
mhm.
you almost have to like ignore people and just be like, this is what I do. If the money's there, the money's there. You know what I mean? Like you can live by the
Yeah.
audience, but you can't live by what people thought afterwards necessarily. What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, it's such a conundrum because I think that as an artist, I mean, as a pure artist, I think that what I want and maybe what most people want is just to be able to create the art that you want, uh, that you believe in.
Hmm.
And I guess I'm sort of two minds here because I mean, one honestly, one of the things that has been nice about Yonko is just um the way that it was started, was in this sort of, pandemic sort of therapeutic-ish way, where we just wanted to have this outlet, to work with each other. We've talked, a million times before, so we don't need to go into all that.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Listen to there. There's a
yeah,
whole collection of
yeah,
podcasts about how this thing got started.
yeah.
That we
And I guess in this context, in the context of this conversation, I think the thing that comes to mind is really how freeing it really has been because the whole point of Yonko or the whole I won't say Yonko, but the whole point of like what you and I have been doing is really just to um kind of experiment. And because we started it that way, I think in my mind, I have had it's been easy for me to get in the mindset of like, okay, well, I'm just writing something right now, and I know that most people are not going to like it, because the whole idea is like it's experimental stuff. And honestly, like having that mindset has been kind of freeing, for Yanko specifically.
Mhm.
Um, but
We
that's
did
just
make an album that someone did. I want to add this. We did
yeah,
make an album that someone did joyfully say how much they hate it. That's is important, like in a nice way, but still.
yeah. Well, with hold music, you mean?
Yeah, with whole music. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, but in some ways, I sort of felt like that kind of accomplished the point of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, yeah.
uh,
Okay, so you were saying, I'm sorry, I
yeah.
didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, no, um, well, so but I think what I'm saying right now is that sort of freedom that I'm talking about, like, is really specific to Yonko,
Hmm.
because I don't really feel that with almost anything else that I do. Like
Hmm.
I feel like that I in a lot of ways I do really cater to the audience, and I'm making decisions based on like what the audience is needing, and things like that, and almost everything else that I do, for
Hmm.
better or for worse. No, I mean, like I don't want to overstate it. I mean, because I'm still expressing myself and I still want to do it, and I'm also not, I'm also not, Taylor Swift level, so I obviously haven't been making the right decisions, if I'm going for like, popular stuff here. So I think it's safe to say that I'm still doing what I want to do,
Hmm.
and I'm still being true to myself. But that being said, I definitely react to the audience. I definitely
Mm.
make decisions in some cases, based on what the audience is doing, and I've definitely had a few bad reviews that have kind of affected me pretty, strongly, I think. So,
So do you
um,
think in the end those bad reviews were helpful or non-helpful?
well, in the moment, they're not helpful.
Mhm.
Um, Maybe in the long term, they could be, I think. But but the thing is, like, if people are writing reviews or commenting on specific things like that, then it's also, I think it's also the view of one person, and that's
Mhm.
not necessarily I don't know if you want to make decisions based on one person.
Yeah, you
I
can't do
think,
a show. You're not trying to
yeah.
do the show for that dude. And you also, and I'm
Yeah.
not being mean
Mhm.
when I say this, but I'm not being mean to this person. They're probably great. I bet they give $1 million to charities every year. But like, you
Of
do
course.
sometimes have to ask yourself, if it's not resonating with someone, are you okay with it not resonating with that type of person?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're making something and someone who, I don't know, you don't like on a, you don't like their taste, and if they think that the Big Bang, I'm not saying this person says that, but they think the Big Bang Theory is the greatest show ever made, and then they don't like your work, you have to kind of be like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I'm okay with that. Like there's a certain level of like, you have to see what people like, and do you want to be what that person likes,
Yeah,
and or like,
exactly. Yeah.
or and I've had that trouble a little bit online every once in a while, where like I'll talk to someone and have the realization that like, if we hung out, I wouldn't respect you. Like, I'm okay with you disliking what I do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm not talking about this person. Just in case they've done some sleuthing and found me.
Mhm.
Um, but
Yeah.
I want to say that in general, um, I think that you do have to say like, well, is this a review I even care about from this person? Because
Yeah.
you can't be everything to everyone. As hard as you try, you can't make everyone happy.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, even if, because even if you are like the top, 1% of the 1%,
Taylor
performers
Swift,
or
yeah.
artists, Taylor Swift, yeah. Like, I mean,
Taylor
there's
Swift's
plenty
the
of people.
greatest artist to ever live.
I mean, I am actually honestly a big fan of Taylor Swift. For we can do a whole podcast on that, but as a teaser, I am. But there's still,
I'm also a pretty big Taylor Swift fan as well.
yeah. But there's also, but there are plenty of people who hate her,
Yeah,
So it's I think even if you're on that level and people still hate you, then it's okay for one or two people to hate us, I think. So
yeah. No, I think that's, and maybe it was a critique, but that I can take. But it was one of those things like, in retrospect, it did feel like, well, there's nothing I can do for you. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, it's one thing to be like, oh, I didn't like the quality, but if it's yeah, I relooked at what I did, and that's my vibe, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work for you, I'm sorry. I'm not even sorry. Just okay, cool. Someone else will, then that's okay.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's sort of the process, because I'm thinking kind of about a recent similar situation that I was in, as well. And I sort of feel like I went through the same process, So I almost feel like it's like there's that initial shock of like, whoa, hold on. Wait, I didn't get this. Hold on, what did I do wrong?
Yeah,
And you're sort of like, okay, I've got to reach this person, and then you sort of like obsess over it. But then given a little time, it's like, okay, well, yeah, because I feel like the same way with this person. Is like, yeah, I'm okay if you don't like what I do. I mean, I kind of reflected on it. I know who you are, and
yeah.
I'm okay with that. So
No, it's a shitty but kind of really awesome feeling to be like, hmm,
yeah.
I see the company you keep. I'm okay with not. Other people can be in that company. Maybe they're great, but I'm okay with not being in that company. You
Exactly,
know?
yeah. Yeah. And so I think with time, and whether a few days or weeks or whatever, then you can sort of take that more Zen approach to it. And but it does take time, because I think it's natural to have that kind of initial reaction. Uh because I mean, no one wants to be criticized. I mean, that's I think that's a natural reaction.
Yeah, but I also think it's one of those things that when you create, you have to realize there is a separation between you and the art, and that's the only way you're ever going to keep your sanity. And
Mhm.
it can feel like you, but it's not you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The piece you make is not you. It is a thing it is an art object that you made that is in some way trying to reflect you, and
Yeah.
that can hurt, yes, but it's
Mhm.
not a direct assault against you personally. So it's a lot more survivable. Like
Yeah.
uncomfortableness is something you can survive.
Yeah.
You can survive being embarrassed.
Mhm.
You can survive being being denied. It's you
Mhm.
have to, I don't want to be an old man, but I think one of the things that you have to look at your life and ask yourself, are you just trying to avoid discomfort? Because if you are, then like, and it's not like I'm perfect at it. I want to be very clear. Like, is it, do you want to just, do you want to avoid discomfort, or do you want to try to do something?
Mhm.
And eventually you have to be like, well, I want to do more than just avoid discomfort.
Mhm.
Eventually you have to do that if you want to work in art. And you won't do it consistently. I won't pretend like I do it consistently.
Yeah.
There are days when I screw it up all the time. But I think you will continue to do your better work if you go, I am not only trying to avoid discomfort,
Mhm. Yeah.
I think that's the message of the whole. I'm trying to fill 7 seconds of material,
You're
just
doing
to time it out.
yeah, you're doing a job.
Uh,
Yeah,
Thank you.
I started getting, oh, I started getting
You
used
got it.
to, uh,
That 15
I,
second, that like say
yeah,
the thing, wrap it up, say the
exactly.
moral, a
Like,
bunch.
okay, stretch it out. How can you stretch it out a little bit longer?
Yep. Slow it down. Really
Find something
look
profound to say.
look look at the camera like you got something you got to
Exactly.
mean
Like
to
it's really
say.
important.
Don't just avoid discomfort.
And there we go.
Okay,
All right.
cool. Good talk.